So first of all, we all thought this defense was actually, going to be elite this year. It's not. They weren't. At least today they weren't. They had about 6 potential turnovers in this game that they should have had. They forced 0 turnovers. They let Kirk Cousins throw for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns on them. Secondary was shredded. Absolutely shredded today. I mean, nobody played good. I don't think anybody in the secondary played good today. Darnell Savage pretty much had the game right in his hands, and he dropped it. He could not make the catch. He leapt up. He had the ball. He came down, and he let it squirt out. I mean, if he intercepts that ball, the Packers go down the field, they kick a field goal or score a touchdown, they win the game. I guarantee it. I guarantee that's what would have happened because Aaron Rodgers was not being stopped in the second half. Aaron Rodgers put together one of the best performances I've seen in a really long time from him, maybe since going all the way back to the previous Minnesota game in Minnesota to start last year. He was unbelievable today. He's had 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 385 yards. Started the game a little bit slow, but he was unbelievable in the second half. This offense was unbelievable. So, of course, what does the defense do? They can't put together a good performance when the offense is great. The offense can't put together a good performance when the defense is great. I mean, it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand why. It's like one side of the ball comes to play, the other side doesn't. Darnell Savage had an interception earlier in the game, too, that was negated by Kingsley Keke being a fucking moron and hitting Kirk Cousins in the helmet. That was a game changer because guess what? They scored a touchdown on that drive. And guess what else? Rasul Douglas, after the Darnell Savage interception that was taken away because he dropped it, should have had a pick six. But he wasn't looking for the ball. And Adam Thielen caught it and raced all the way into field goal range. The pass was like telegraphed. He ran the route for Thielen, but he wasn't looking for the ball. I guess this is a lesson to me to just, make sure that I don't ever, take a few games of good defensive play and make it seem like the Packers actually have a good defense. Because they were garbage today. And if it's any indication, I know the Rams haven't been really that great lately, but they're going to get shredded next week in Green Bay. You got to play the goddamn Rams. I get it. The Rams haven't looked very good, but it's still the Rams. They're still one of the best teams in the league. The Packers had the number 1 seed, right, and they just fell right out of it because they lost. I mean, I guess you hope that the Cardinals and the Cowboys lose and maybe the Packers stay at number 1, but I mean, this is a game, I know this game was going to be tough. I knew the Vikings were going to put up a fight, but this is a game the Green Bay Packers should win, and they didn't because the defense didn't show up. It's like, and just another textbook classic Aaron Rodgers game, where he goes and scores the go-ahead touchdown. Defense immediately gives up another touchdown. Gets the ball back with 2 minutes and 17 seconds left. First play, bomb to MVS, touchdown, tie game. Doesn't see the ball again. He was unbelievable in the second half. And he didn't see the ball one last time to give the Packers a chance to win. He didn't. And, I don't really know what the Packers were doing on that Dalvin Cook run either. There was the last play that the Vikings ran, like legitimate play. They took 2 kneel downs. Why didn't they let Dalvin Cook score? The Vikings literally got it within the 10-yard line. It was a 29-yard field goal. You have a way better shot of just giving the ball back to Rodgers and having him try and go down and tie the game or win it, after the touchdown with the 2-point conversion. Instead, they tackled him at the 7-yard line? Why are you tackling him? Let him score! I mean, I get the kicking woes, but guess what? It's still a 29-yard field goal. I'd rather have the game in Aaron Rodgers' hands than to hope the other team misses just so we can go to overtime. Oh, yeah. Elton Jenkins probably tore his ACL, too, so that's great. I mean, Could today have gone any worse? I mean, I guess there is a positive that the offense looks like last year's offense, finally, for the first time all goddamn year. That's it, though. That's the only positive I can think of. And we just lost maybe one of the best offensive linemen. Yes, one of the best offensive linemen in football. And David Bakhtiari still isn't back from his torn ACL. Who knows if he's even going to be back this year? I mean, obviously now there's probably going to be more of a push to get him back because having both all-pro offensive linemen out really, really hurts. I mean, this offensive line is like strung together with gum and chicken wire right now. We're so thin. We're so thin. I mean, we still don't have Jair Alexander back either. Guess who probably would have been covering Justin Jefferson today? Probably Jair Alexander, right? You think Jair Alexander lets Justin Jefferson have the game he did today? Hell no. Justin Jefferson probably beats him on a few plays, but guess what? Jair Alexander doesn't let that touchdown happen on that, what was it? I think it was 3rd down and 3. Packers blitzed. Vikings were down by 1 point at the time. And Cousins basically threw a prayer up to Justin Jefferson. It was a one-on-one with Stokes. Stokes has good coverage until he just doesn't even see the ball. I like Stokes a lot. He's going to be a good player. But right now, he has absolutely zero ball skills. He doesn't know where the ball is when it's in the air. Like, he's just there, like, looking around. And, like, he can stay with anybody. But when it comes to, making the 50-50 plays, he can't. And that's the big difference. I mean, Eric Stokes was covering their best receiver today. And the Packers, Eric Stokes, I should say, just, he couldn't, he was too inexperienced. And that's not a knock on him. It's just, we need Jair Alexander back. And who knows if Zadarius Smith's going to come back or not. I mean, this team is ridiculously banged up. And we still got the fucking Rams next week before our bye. We could be 8-4. I mean, if we're 8-4, obviously we can finish the season 13-4, but is that going to be good enough to get that number 1 seed? I don't know. And the number 1 seed this year is more important than it's ever been. Because the number 1 seed is the only one that gets home field advantage in a bye. I mean, this is a really bad loss. People acting like this loss is like, oh man, yeah, the Packers will be fine. I think the Packers are going to be okay too. Because they showed, some good things, especially on offense today. But the defense looked bad, and there was another major injury. And people acting like this loss is like, oh yeah, whatever. We lost to a 4-5 team. I don't care how close their losses have been. The Packers are a better team than the Vikings. They should have won this game. And they didn't because they didn't take advantage of the numerous opportunities they had. The numerous opportunities they had to put this game away, to get the big turnover. They didn't take advantage of a single one, man. And even though Aaron Rodgers played like, unbelievable, MVP Rodgers, defense couldn't do shit for him. The defense couldn't do shit for him. And in particular, it was the secondary today. A secondary that just looked really good over the past few games, and they got absolutely shredded today. And if I had to blame any single thing for the Packers' loss today, it's definitely that secondary. The pass rush was banged up, but they still got pressure on Kirk Cousins a lot today. I mean, Preston Smith had a few big sacks. That new guy, Tippa, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he was making some good plays too. And Kenny Clark got a lot of pressure up the middle. The Packers did a pretty good job of slowing down Dalvin Cook. He still had some big runs, but they did a pretty good job of slowing down Dalvin Cook. I mean, Devondre Campbell was good in the running game, and he got some pressure on some blitzes too. It was the damn secondary today. And it's always the goddamn secondary, isn't it? Or, of course, in 2019, 2020, it was the run defense, but this is a bad loss, guys. This is a bad loss. This is a really bad loss. It's a game the Packers should have won. It's a game that they shouldn't have been down 23-10 to begin with, and they should have been able to win anyways because, the Vikings practically gift-wrapped it to them, and they couldn't take advantage. But I don't know. Guess you got to forget about it and move on, so I'm not happy about it. And, I just can't understand the logic of, well, whatever, it was going to be a tough game anyways. It's a game you should win. It's a game you shouldn't have been down by that much in. And even though you were down by that much, it's still a game you should have pulled out and won. These are the kinds of games that matter. I think back to that game in Buffalo back in 2014. Packers should have won that game. They had a ton of opportunities to win that game. And in the end, it ended up costing the Green Bay Packers the number 1 seed. And guess what? They had to go on the road to play Seattle in the NFC Championship game. That shit matters. It's not like there's no fans this year, guys. These games matter. I don't want to have to go on the road to play Tampa or Arizona or whatever. I know we beat Arizona, but still, going back there is going to be a big challenge again. Cowboys, I'd be a little more okay with going on the road because Aaron Rodgers owns Jerry World, but still, I don't want to have to go on the road for the NFC Championship game. And games like this, losing games like this is what loses you seeding. It's what costs you in the grand scheme of things, Obviously, the Packers should have won that 2014 NFC Championship game, but, you want to go back to the root of why they lost that game, you could go all the way back to that Buffalo game that they lost, that they shouldn't have. But I guess all you can do is hope other teams lose and win the games in front of you, so that's all I got to say. I'm thoroughly disgusted by their performance by the Packers today, especially the defense, and hopefully they can get right next weekend, but I'm not too confident. So, see you guys. Thanks.